Welcome to the Premier Property Weekly Live Q&A, and as per usual we have questions that are being asked by our Premier Property community, and we are going to jump straight into it. Now, you might be joining here for the first time, so if you're wondering who I am, my name is Kam Dovedi. I'm the founder of Premier Property, and all I am is an investor and developer over the last 29 years, and I love assisting people and answering questions and helping people move forward in their journey. We're active right now, and hence I do my best to answer questions every week right now, all around property. And I've got some really good questions there. Questions around leases, questions around kitchens and water mains and stopcocks, and very detailed questions right around that. We've also got questions around leases and also around valuations. And we're going to cover all of this right now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you know what you can, of course, do. If you haven't already, then feel free to subscribe to this channel, and I'll make sure that you get these videos on a regular basis. You can click on that bell icon, of course, as you may or may not be aware of. I'm pretty sure you are aware of it, and you can click on that bell icon, and we'll make sure that you get the most up-to-date video straight to you right away. Okay, so I'll leave that to you. And moving forward with the questions, the first question is from Anna. Anna in our Premier Property community, and Anna is saying, hey, that's what she starts with. Hey, what is the best finish for stairs, durable and cost effective? Now, if you're like me, the answer always is a carpet. However, in brackets, she's put in, cannot do carpet. Okay, fair enough, Anna. So you've got a couple of other choices that you can be using. So one of them is a cladding system. So you can actually get a cladding system for the stairs, so it won't be carpet. Now, the downside of that is it is pretty expensive, and to be fair, it's not as cost effective as a carpet. You can't just replace it like you can with a carpet, but there is a cladding system available. And there's another way that you can actually make sure that your stairs are covered nicely, and that is non-slip stair treads. So this is kind of a tape that you can actually tape, and it looks really nice. However, I would say the downside of that, just being honest with you, is that that's going to be quite temporary. It's quite short term, so it'll start to weather quite quickly. So there's a couple of other choices, and if you're like us, like what I say, we love carpet because it's just easy and you can just replace it, and it feels good, looks good. But yes, there you have it, and a couple of choices for you. Okay, next question I've got here is from Melody Barnes. Now, Melody is asking me all about plumbing and stopcocks. So, Melody is saying, I'm reading this off here, by the way, just off the cuff. So Melody says, I'm redesigning a kitchen and want to get the mains water stopcock moved about 1 meter over to a better position in the kitchen because the kitchen's got a new layout. Okay, understandable. Can a regular plumber do this, or does that have to be the water company having to do that? Well, Melody, the stopcock, if I understand you correctly, the stopcock that you're talking about is the internal stopcock in the kitchen area, or wherever it is nearby in the kitchen area, which is internal. So that, yes, you can get a plumber to come in and change that. If it was external from your property, from the boundary of your property, then that would be the water board. But if it's within the boundary of your property, then that is usually you. And if it's internal, like what you're saying, then that definitely is you, and you can get a plumber to do that. So hope that answers your question nice and swiftly. And this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, in my property experience so far, in property for the last 29 years, when I started, I couldn't answer all these questions. I had questions. To be fair, I'm not going to pretend that I know it all right now. There's always another question. There's always something that you need help with. We're quite lucky that we have a really good team at Premier Property. And, I like to keep that little bit of a humbleness and, slight naivety, if you like, where you can ask these questions, because if you're like me, what you notice is that this is what actually allows you to continue to grow in your property journey. So all I'm saying is, in a nutshell, is questions are okay. And it's great when you've got people that can actually answer them for you as well. And once they answer this, the answers are usually pretty easy, aren't they? Yeah. Hopefully you'll agree with me. And keep in mind, if you're watching this and you've got comments, feel free to comment, ask your questions. I'd love to hear from you. And, you can do this right now. You can just, where that is. There's a comment box, isn't there? You can always comment, and you can be, be part of our family and be part of our community. You're very welcome. And Melody's actually watching this here. And Melody says, thanks, Cam. You're welcome, Melody. So we can get on with that one, get the layout sorted out. Looking forward to seeing the kitchen. Next up, we got a question here from Nilesh. Now, Nilesh is asking, let's see what Nilesh is asking. So Nilesh, another one of our Premier Property community members, a very well-heeled member in our Premier Property community, actually. And he's asking, I've purchased a flat, but my solicitor has not registered the title with Land Registry. Okay. So I'm going to answer this in parts, I think, just to make it crystal clear, because it's quite a lengthy type of question, and there's quite a few turns in this question, if you like. So if your solicitor, Nilesh, hasn't registered on Land Registry, and maybe you're watching this and you're wondering how that works, well, that's okay. Your conveyancing solicitor can do that. Typically, it takes up to 30 days. Around that kind of time frame. If it's a lease, it's usually a bit longer. You can expedite that if you give the Land Registry, a reasonable excuse on why you want to expedite it. For example, let's say you're moving property and it's timely. That could be one reason, because you want to get the finance. So a number of reasons. That's one of them that you could be using. So that can be done quite quickly, as I mentioned. Lease takes a bit longer, but yes, you can do that. Lease, we're looking at around a quarter, that sort of time frame. So that's that part of the question that's been answered. The next thing Nilesh is asking is, the solicitors say that he has been waiting for the signed lease, which he has not received. Okay, stay with me on this, team. And the freeholder solicitor's practice has been taken over by another practice. Okay, so the freeholder where Nilesh owns this flat, the freeholders changed, because the freeholder's solicitor practice has been taken over by another. Okay, fine. So the freeholder's solicitor has changed. Okay, that's okay. The freehold of the building has been sold to another company. Okay, so this is where we get the twist, right? So we've got a solicitor, we've got a freeholder who's changed his solicitor and the solicitor's company, and there's a new freeholder. Okay, that makes sense. So, in a nutshell, if I understand this question correctly, you've now got a new freeholder with a new solicitor's firm that they're using. Okay, so then the next part of this, turning to a bit of a riddle, this, isn't it? The next part of this is the freehold of the building has been sold to another company, and the new owner solicitors has written to the managing agent and saying that the rent should be paid to the new owner of the freehold. Okay. So yeah, Nilesh, so that should be okay. So if I understand your question correctly, so you got a new freeholder for where you got your apartments, and any ground rent, etc., that you're paying goes to the new freeholder. And if they've got a new solicitor's firm that they're using, for example, to deal with this, the managing agent, then that's okay. You just pay the new freeholders through their entities, and that's absolutely fine. So we own a number of commercial properties where we actually own the virtual freeholds. So, for example, 999 years. So it's like a virtual freehold, right? So there's still a freeholder involved, and it's quite interesting. I mean, the freeholders are actually good friends of ours, Galliard Homes. So they were freeholders for the whole complex. So if you can imagine a whole commercial site where you've got lots of offices, and then somebody else came along and they bought that freehold from them, and that's okay. So we had a new management company, and you just pay the new management company the service charge, etc. So we haven't got any ground rent. We have service charge because we own the property. It's a virtual freehold, and so pretty simple. Nothing too complicated. English is coming up here, watching this right now, and he's saying it is not the ground rent. They are asking for the tenant's rent. Ooh, that's a bit shocking. They're asking for the tenant's rent. I'd suggest you check that, Nilesh. Just have a little look at that. It might be that they worded it in the wrong way, or you might need to read it in a different way. They shouldn't be asking for the tenant's rent. They don't really have any rights over that. It's the freehold, and it's the usually the freehold, just for clarity, of course, is the ground that the property sits on, and usually the outer spaces and the external parts of the building is what they are responsible for, and the freeholder usually charges a ground rent for that and some service charge. So I would just urge you to just double check that, and if that's not the case, then come back to me, and of course I will continue to answer the second part of your question. But just please check that, because that sounds really odd if they're asking for the tenant's rent, and then because they don't have any right over it. Okay, Nilesh, so hope that answers that part. Look forward to you coming back maybe this time next week, right? Okay, moving forward. Next up, we have a question here by Ellen Erickson. Right, okay, this looks like a nice detailed question as well. You guys are testing me today. It's pretty good. That's what we're here for. And remember, if you're enjoying these sort of detailed question and answers, then do feel free to subscribe. We love for you to be part of our community. And as I mentioned earlier, you can ask your questions, and that little bell icon that you can just just kind of press on right now means that you'll get the latest videos as well. Just to be crystal clear, okay? So let's jump into Ellen's question and let's answer Ellen's question. Ellen is asking, hi Cam, we have received a survey and a valuation report on a leasehold flat. Liking it? Okay, so that's good news, isn't it? Right, then we got, even though we submitted the property details in advance, okay, in brackets report, including stating it's a leasehold and a number of years left on the lease, the valuation report states the property is assumed to be leasehold. Yeah, so that's okay. So they're basically saying what you've confirmed, so that's okay. Does the valuation not take into consideration if the property is freehold or leasehold? And how long does the valuation not take into consideration if the property is freehold or leasehold? So yes, so you're aware it's leasehold. The valuer came along, is also aware it's leasehold because they put it in the valuation report as you're mentioning. So that's ticks in the box, so that's okay. That's sort of matching up. The next part of the question is does a valuation not take into the property is freehold or leasehold? It does. So they've mentioned it's leasehold, it's leasehold, so that's okay. And then does it, and how long is it left on the lease? So yeah, how long you've got left on your lease. Now I'm assuming this is residential property. Well, actually I'm assuming, I can say I know because I know you, Ellen. So I know this is actually a property that you're buying, which is is a residential. So typically, if you have a lease which is over 80 years, then what you'll find is your valuation will be the top end of the valuation, and you can buy and sell that property, and many lenders will be open to that, so you're okay with that. When the lease falls below 80 years, then what you'll find is certain lenders will accept that, certain lenders won't accept that, and that's then classed as a short lease, or it becomes into the realms of a short lease. So anything under 80 years. So 75, 70, of course. Now in those realms, you're very near a full lease. So it's still a short lease, but many lenders will take a view on that and they'll accept that. Some will, some won't, but most will. But when it starts falling below that, 60 years or 50 years, then what you'll find is most lenders, in my experience, will not accept that. However, there's always a caveat to the rule. There are very niche specific lenders which you probably haven't heard the names of. They're not household names. So sometimes it's private funds as well, private money. That's where the lenders are. So you can get these types of lenders to even still lend you on that 50-year lease. Not a lot of people know that. And you can sort of turn this on its head. So if you're watching this, the fact is, if you've got a short lease, like a 50, 60, 70 years, as I'm sharing with you, then you can find that there is the odd one or two lenders. And keeping in mind, if you're following me here, you only need one lender, don't you, for one property? So that's typically fine. You can find these bespoke lenders that will help you with this. Now, the rates are not usually the best. But then, it's about, what are you looking for? The big mistake people make is the lowest rate. The lowest rate, in my experience, doesn't really mean anything, because what you want is, you want to get the deal over the line, don't you? Yeah, you wanna know that you got that security of getting the deal over the line, and that buzz when you get your deals, right? When you get them over the line. And these types of lenders, they'll be, higher price, higher rating in terms of the percentage that they charge you. But like I say, like what I'm sharing with you, you get the deal over the line. So you can use some of these bespoke lenders if it was a lower lease. I thought I'd just add that in. So have a look at your lease. So just to summarize, over 80 years, happy days. Below 80 years, you can still get lending, fewer lenders. And if you're getting down to 50 years or so on, then there is the odd, one or two lenders, very bespoke, that will still get you the money. You'll pay for that, but you'll still get the money. So that is there. And of course, you could always extend the lease if required. So hope that answers that part of the question. There's another bit. So we've got another question here. So Ellen's here as well. So hi Ellen, good to see you here. Ellen saying thanks, Cam. Brilliant. Thank you, Ellen. Thanks for asking the question. I've got another bit, I believe. So, is the valuation always done on the assumption of a long lease? Is the valuation always done on the assumption of a long lease? I think we've answered that one, right? So, as I've just said, long lease, short lease, very short lease. Yeah, so that's that. Alan, great question. I'm loving the detail. I'm loving the action as well. So, really good. Okay, moving forward. Next up, we've had a question from Melody, from Ellen, from Nilesh, from Anna. And the final question I've got here is from the man who's really on it. He's just had a new baby. There's a bit too much information, but he's just had a new baby. Yeah, Jason Joyce. So Jason, I'm not sure if you're here or you'll be listening to this anyway at some point. So that's fine. Right, so Jason is asking the question. Right, I'm going to read this one out. So, hi Cam, although my wife and I have been landlords for 13 years, our broker has told us in the past that one of us needs to have an annual income of at least £25,000 to be able to get a buy-to-let mortgage. Okay, that figure now is more near 26,000. I mean, it's not actually an exact figure, but many lenders have that 25,800 something, off the top of my head it is. But 26,000, and you're quite right. Okay, so for that part, to get a buy-to-let mortgage. Okay, and that money needs to be from a traditional business. So that could be your tax, showing on your tax return, on your SA 302, on your tax computation, if you have a business. Or it can be a payslip, PAYE. Makes jobs an advantage. Yeah, you get mortgages even faster. Means to an end. Just saying. So if you're watching this and you're working full-time, well, good for you. You got payslips, and if you got a business, well, good for you as well. If you got that track record of your annual SA 302s, or tax computation as they're called now, well, good for you. It means that your lending for your properties is going to be that much easier for your buy-to-lets, your HMOs, for sure. Okay, so hope that answers that part of the question. And then we've got, also that the income from our rental properties can't be the sole amount of this £25,000. And yes, your mortgage broker is correct. So typically, and we're discussing residential lenders here, we're not discussing commercial lenders. So there's an answer in that comment. So just saying, if you're struggling with the fact that you don't have annual income from, as I've just mentioned, a business or a PAYE type of scenario, you can always discuss your rental income with commercial lenders. Just keep that in mind. I know that's a little bit outside the box, but that's something that you can do. Okay, so next up, next part of the question. Where are we here? I'm just reading it off here, off the cuff. So it says here, I just need to know that if we had to leave our jobs, right. So, but I've heard that you can get mortgages without any employment or other income, and that we would be assessed as professional landlords with our experience. So, yes, you've asked the question. I've kind of answered the question before you asked the question. Just watch this again in the last 5 minutes. I've just answered that one. So that part's okay. So commercial lenders can take a view on that. I just need to know that if we had to leave our jobs or lost our jobs to fully concentrate on buying, remortgaging buy-to-let properties, then we can still get mortgages and can remortgage. Yes, so that question has already been answered. And we will only be buying in our personal names, not through a limited company. Okay, now you might have a bit of a hurdle there. Now do speak to your mortgage broker, but what you might find is that the commercial lenders work even better if you've got a limited company. But there's always a way around this, right? So there will be some lenders that accept personal as well. You know, if you've got your tax returns and all of that, as we just discussed. Limited companies, they understand it even better, just saying. And then it says, we just want to build a portfolio like other professional landlords and not waste time every day going to a job that we both hate. He's put here. This is turning into kind of property, not alcohol's anonymous, but kind of a property anonymous, isn't it? Just saying. Right, okay. We're getting a bit passionate here. So Jason hates his job when we could be using that time to concentrate on building a portfolio. Well, quite rightly so. And as we plan to buy at least 2 buy-to-lets this year with our own cash and deposits and add lots of value. I like it. We're learning a lot about Jason here. And what else are we saying? So lots of value. We will then have two projects released on the 3rd buy-to-let deposit, and this works. So, to be fair, Jason's done some really cool trainings with us at Premier, and he's discussing here how we do deals no money in. So I'll get you Jason. That's still okay. I know it's kind of like when the doors open up, there's so much you can do. Okay, we can also use our current portfolios for deposits, or thinking is that we can have 9 buy-to-lets, making things easy for us to release equity from each house to make up the deposit for the 10th and so on. Jason, I'm liking your plan. And in a nutshell, the summary of the answer to your question, the summary is pay slips help, business tax computations help. If you've got 1 year, that's very helpful. If you've got 2 years, oh my God, that is so helpful. And if you've got 3 years, you're definitely going to get that mortgage. So, there's that side of things. And that will be your traditional lenders. No mortgage advice, by the way. I'm just saying what we do. And if you are a full-time property person, then you can look at commercial lending type of scenarios. But what we do is we have associated businesses. And I know you do as well, Jason, so hence I'm mentioning. So, for example, with 9 and 10 buy-to-lets, you are within your rights to actually have a management company, which is a traditional business, and it's managing your property portfolio, but it's a separate entity. Hopefully you're following. And that business can have its own income, can't it? Yeah. And HMRC are cool with this. So, as long as you've got, you got to put a common sense approach to it, right? So you got to keep it real. So if you've got more than, 4 properties, like 5 properties plus, then usually HMRC can understand that. Well, you know what, that's economies of scale and that makes sense. So I know you're in that position, Jason. And if you're watching this, you're in that position. These are things that you can discuss with your accountants and tax advisors. And I'm pretty sure they will give you the same info where, you can you can actually have a, honest management company, which is managing your property portfolio, which means you have income within that, which means you can use that income to get further finance. Jason, loving the questions, and hopefully you're enjoying these answers. Hope you're enjoying them as much as I'm enjoying sharing them with you. And feel free to catch up with us this time next week. We're going to be on YouTube. It's going to be recorded for you so you can watch these. Feel free to watch back as well. I've done a number of videos. Feel free to watch them. Hopefully you like the quality and the value in them. And if you're liking this, I'll just say it one more time. Feel free to subscribe and click on that bell icon. You'll help us out. You'll help yourselves out. And welcome to the community. So on that note, it's Kam Dovedi helping you to take your property investing to the next level. I'll see you same time next week. See ya.